We are installing Arch Linux to use with Steam. Most people use SteamOS Holo on the Steam Deck. Holodeck, Star Trek reference. Awesome. Since the deck's release, people have asked for SteamOS Holo for their PC. But what is SteamOS Holo? Based on Arch Linux, KDE Plasma Desktop, Flatpak for apps, and of course the Steam client. What people really want is the Steam Deck UI. Valve has stated the Steam Deck UI is going to replace Big Picture mode in all Steam clients. Head on over to archlinux.org and download the ISO image. As you can see, there are tons and tons of mirrors. Next, download an application called Rufus. This will format our USB key with the Arch Linux ISO image. Select Arch Linux ISO in boot selection and hit Start. There will be two warnings that pop up, just hit the default option. I'm using a 2013 HP 15 laptop. AMD A10 5745M APU. Radeon 8610G GPU. Open up Disk Management. C is our primary partition. I already right-clicked and shrinked it because it's a very slow process on a 5400 RPM drive from 2013. I had to disable the page file, hibernation, and delete system restore points in order for it to shrink. I shrinked it by 64 GB, the smallest Steam Deck storage option. I set aside two partitions, a 10 GB root partition and a 54 GB home partition. Steam Deck uses a 5 GB root partition, but it's stripped and difficult to achieve for our purposes. The reason for two partitions is the ability to reinstall Linux without reinstalling Steam games. Select the unallocated 10 GB and click New Simple Volume. Assign the root partition size. If you want to install a lot of applications, 15 to 20 GB should suffice. Do not assign a drive letter, and do not format. Repeat this step for the home partition. After, restart your PC. My PC automatically boots off the USB stick. You might have to press Escape F1, F2, F8, F9, F10, or F12. Once the grub screen shows up, just press Enter. It might take a moment depending on your specific hardware. There is no graphical wizard installation. This allows us to customize our install from the beginning. Don't be intimidated, it's quite simple. Run fdisk and list the partition layout. We have an EFI partition on dev SDA2, our 10 GB root is SDA5.3, and our 54 GB home is SDA6. We will need to make changes to the partition table. Change the partition type for our root partition, which in our case is 5, and we need to change it to Linux file system, which is number 20. Make sure to press Q first. Repeat the steps if you need to do it for a home partition. Once complete, go ahead and write the changes. Verify the partition layout, and format the root partition. And then format the home partition if you did that as well. Next, enable the Wi-Fi. If you use the network cable, chances are you can skip this step. Device list, station scan, get networks. I'm going to use Belkin CE4. Station connect, and enter your password. Press Ctrl D to run in the background, and then ping Google and verify your network works. Update the packages database. Mount our root partition to the MNT directory. Packstrap the Linux-based firmware and two editors, Vim and Nano. Check the partition layout. Create mount boot EFI. Mount the EFI partition to mount boot EFI. This is what it should look like. And these are the EFI menu options. Mount the home partition to mount home. And generate the fstab. The fstab tells Linux where to automatically mount our partitions. Verify the fstab looks correct. We missed the swap, but we will do it later. Arch chroot our root mount directory. This will act as if we booted our OS directly. Set the host name. In my case, I used Arch Laptop. Go ahead and create the host file. Download and install the grub and EFI boot manager packages. And grub install. I chose the EFI menu label Arch. Generate the grub configuration, otherwise you'll just get a grub prompt when you restart. Install the sudo package, which allows us to run elevated privileges as a user. Create your user. Set a password for your user and make sure that they match. Assign the groups to your user. And edit sudoers to allow the wheel group to escalate privileges. Now for the main packages, Zorg, Plasma, Wayland, and Network Manager. Except for Pipewire Jack, everything else is default. Next, install console for our terminal and flatpak for applications. I use Color D KDE because my screens are hardware calibrated. Enable the simple display manager to give us our graphical login. And enable network manager to give us networking. And then go ahead and shut down. I mean exit and then shut down. On my 2013 HP laptop, I have to press Escape, and then F9 for boot device options. You can see Arch is now listed. Select Arch and grub should show up. And then just press Enter. Here's the mouse cursor and our login screen. Plasma Wayland is in the top left. Go ahead and log in. And here's our desktop. Make sure the speakers are selected and unmuted. Open the console. create our swap file. Steam Deck has a 1 GB swap file. You can make it bigger if you want. Edit the Fs tab to automatically mount our swap. Turn the swap on, and check free to make sure swap has been activated. Connect to your Wi-Fi, which in my case is Belkin CE4, entering the password. Open console and verify we can ping Google. Go ahead and open Discover. Search for Steam and click Install. You can also search and install Firefox, Lutris, RetroArch. There are a lot of other flatpak applications. Once finished, open up the Steam client and log in. For this test, we're going to try Bastion. I've gone ahead and plugged in my Xbox 360 controller. You can see the FPS indicator is in the top right. I was not able to get Mango HUD Flatpak to work, unfortunately, and I have not looked into Feral's game mode yet. The audio sounds good. And the controller works.
Proper story is supposed to start at the beginning. Ain't so simple with this one. Now here's a kid whose whole world got all twisted, leaving him stranded on a rock in the sky. He gets up.
This is a 2013 HP laptop. It does not have Vulkan. Don't expect Cyberpunk and certainly not Elden Ring. You can Google, can you run it, to find games suited for your specific hardware. It showed me I could run 47% of games on minimum settings. It is showing 60 FPS and it's pretty smooth. Pretty good considering just an out-of-box experience.
That a survivor? No, ma'am. It's a gas fella, forced out from underground. Kid pops him good. Fella got a piece of him, though. Gotta hold her still to spin up the chamber. Kid's worked up quite a thirst by now, so that fountain looks real inviting. Sometimes you just need a drink. A school of squirts tunnels up around him.
The next game that we're going to try is Back to the Future Episode 1. As you can see, nothing happens when you click play. You have to go into Settings, Steam Play, and enable Steam Play for all other titles. Restart Steam, and click play again. And it can't find the Direct 3D device. Remember, we don't have Vulkan, so we have to add a Proton command. Proton use WindD3D launch option. Ideally, it should figure it out automatically, but it does not. We need to make this full screen. This isn't exactly full screen, but it's close enough for right now. I'm outputting to a capture card instead of the built-in display, and I'm not going to spend time trying to figure it out. This is one of my most favorite movies.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Emmett Brown. I'm standing on the parking lot at Twin Pines Mall. It's Saturday morning, October 26th, 1985, 1:18 a.m. And this is temporal experiment number 1. Come on, Einie. Hey, boy, get in there.
You might not see it, but I definitely see signs of stuttering. It's definitely not averaging 60 FPS. Normally I would use Mango HUD and cap it to 30 FPS and see if that solves it, or try Feral Game Mode.
Have a good trip, Einstein. Watch your head.
You got that thing hooked up to the car?
Watch this.
Yeah, okay. Got it.
Gaming on Linux has come a very long way, especially in the last 2 years.
Not me. The car. The car. If my calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit. Watch this, watch this. What did I tell you? 88 miles per hour! The temporal displacement occurred at exactly 1:20 a.m. and 0 seconds!
Hot Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, Doc. You disintegrated Einstein.
Calm down, Marty. I didn't disintegrate anything. The molecular structure of both Einstein and the car are completely intact.
Where the hell are they?
The appropriate question is, when the hell are they? You see?
Finally, let's check console and find out how much space our root partition ended up taking. 6.9 gigs, compared with SteamOS 5 gigs, 28% difference. I say that's not bad doing it ourselves. At the end of this video, I wanted to show, can you run it? I don't know why Steam doesn't include this themselves. Download the detection application. There's our hardware. I can run 24 out of the top 100 games. Not bad for 11 years old. And it shows 47% of games at minimum requirements. Thank you for watching. I hope this has been informative. The whole process will take about an hour.